Brian Wilson alongside Larry O'Connor.
And we've been following with great interest the drama in Richmond, as, of course, you remember 2 weeks ago, the deadlock in the Senate between Republicans and Democrats was broken with State Senator Puckett shifting sides and becoming a Republican there. And did he become a Republican? No, he just retired, and that gave the Republicans the majority in the Senate. That broke free the budget deadlock. We had our budget. Governor McAuliffe then used a line-item veto last week on certain aspects of that budget that kept him from expanding Medicare without the House of Delegates and the state Senate approving it. And, well, yesterday, deep into the evening in Richmond, the Senate and the House of Delegates nullified that veto. Joining us right now, one of the state senators, Richard Black out of Loudoun, who has been a huge mover and shaker in this area. He joins us right now. Did I describe what happened properly there, Senator?
I think that was a pretty good explanation. We had gone for about 3 months with a budget deadlock, and then when the control shifted from the Democrats to the Republicans in the Senate, we met and were able to pass the budget in a single day.
What I'm not understanding, though, Senator Black, is, anyone who knows their civics knows that it takes a two-thirds majority to override an executive's veto. What happened last night with regard to the line-item veto from Governor McAuliffe on this Medicaid language?
Well, the big issue was the Medicaid expansion. There was a blog known as the Bull Elephant, which pointed out that there was actually language in the budget to do Medicaid expansion, and I introduced a floor amendment which passed after 12 hours of wrangling that stripped it out. And the governor attempted to use a veto to take it out, but it was ruled out of order by the Speaker because it didn't meet the constitutional requirements for a line-item veto.
In other words, you can't take out an item within a certain part of the budget. You have to take out the whole part of that budget, right?
That's exactly right. You can't take out a portion, and this is very well established in our Constitution and state constitutions around the nation.
All right, so this has been resolved for the moment. McAuliffe doesn't seem to be willing to give up on the issue. I think he'll come at it again if he can find another way. But what does it say about the state of Commonwealth politics when you have this sort of very, very difficult relationship between the governor and the state legislature? I mean, it used to be said in Virginia that it was a place where, gentlemen could come together and find common ground. It wasn't so polarized. It now seems very polarized.
Well, I think it shows that the separation of powers is alive and well in Virginia. We've got a strong tradition of constitutional government, and the fact is that people in Virginia, from what I can tell, do not want Obamacare, and Medicaid expansion is our portion of Obamacare. It's really the first step towards moving everyone into a single-payer health program. This was something that people didn't want to do. The governor, of course, did want it, and that's what the battle was over. And for this year, he has lost the battle.
But the expansion of Medicaid has done so well up in Maryland, Senator Black. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to bring that to the good people of the Commonwealth.
Don't you look to Maryland as an example of how all things should be done?
Well, I think if you really want to see how this single payer would work, you just look no further than the Veterans Administration, where it takes 100 days to get an appointment with a doctor, and you've got people who literally are dying to wait for health care. And imagine that's just a small segment of the population. If you did what the VA does to 300 million Americans, the whole thing is, I think, going to collapse.
Yeah. Our guest is Virginia State Senator Richard Black out of Loudoun, and we're talking about the drama yesterday in Richmond. And Senator Black, is this done now? Because when the governor used his line item veto, as you ruled yesterday, erroneously used it, but when he used it, he said he was moving forward with Medicaid expansion. He was directing his Secretary of Human Services, Secretary Hazel, to come up with a plan for his desk no later than September. Is he going to do an Obama here and use his phone and his pen?
I think the problem is, Virginia still operates under the rule of law, under the Constitution. Constitution is quite clear that you cannot implement a program without an appropriation, and so he's trying to do it Washington style. This is Virginia. We still operate under the rule of law, and I don't think he's going to be able to find a way. I just don't think there is a lawful way of doing it.
He does have an attorney general who has been, let's say, creative in the way he employs the law.
Well, our attorney general has been, let's say, very flexible in the application of the law, and I don't know that that's going to help him in this case, because the further out on the limb you go, the more likely it is to break off. And I think from a legal standpoint, had it not been for what they called the Black or Bust Amendment passing, I think he would have had the explicit authority within the budget to do what he wants to do. That's why we had the 12-hour fight over that, and but we won that fight, and at least for this year, I don't think that Medicaid expansion is going to move forward.
Would you be the black in the Black or Bust Amendment?
Yes, that was
well done,
that
sir.
was my floor amendment, and I as far as I know, it's the only $2 billion floor amendment that's ever been introduced in Virginia.
Well, listen, really fast before we lose you here, Senator Black. We had a budget shortfall there. Somehow Republicans got it together and balanced the budget, and we're now moving forward. But what had to be cut to balance the budget, considering the revenue shortfalls?
Well, we had hoped to do some employee raises and that type of thing. And unfortunately, for the time being, we're not going to be able to do the teacher pay raises and things of that sort that we had hoped. Now, one thing that the governor did try to throw out, and he did so unsuccessfully, was an increase in money for judges. We have a tremendous deficit in that area, and we managed to find the funds to do that. We will look later on to see what we can do for K through 12 additional spending and for the employee increases.
Right.
Now we did do the spending increases for mental health, though.
We're out of time. We got to leave it there. Thank you for joining us, Virginia State Senator Richard Black, on yesterday's drama in Richmond. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now.